Hi guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Conqueror's Blade. So, I kind of wanted to have a week 1 update on the Battle Pass, because there's been quite a lot that's changed, and I just kind of just sort of see where we are now, because it'll be a week on Monday since it's released, and kind of see how I've got on, and see some of the things I've come across that are good and not so good, kind of through the Battle Pass. So, firstly, let's head over to the Season 1 screen. I'm currently at only level 11. I probably haven't played loads and loads this week, but I'd say I'm relatively active in the game, particularly with trying to run the house and everything like that. So, yeah, that's kind of perhaps I represent the average player, and I have only made it to level 11. And this kind of sums up one of the biggest problems with the Battle Pass and what a lot of people have been complaining about. It just takes such a long time to level up, and the grind gets progressively harder. Every level you get, the amount of glory you needed to get to the next level gets higher and higher. So level 11, and this is only going to start to slow down as time gets on, because it's going to be getting harder and harder to achieve each level. So realistically, it's not going to be possible for the average person to get very far, particularly when there are 200 levels in total. Now, not long after the Battle Pass was released, My.com kind of made comment on this, and basically some changes have been made. Firstly, the main one is they brought forward a lot of the cosmetic rewards. We see some of them starting to come in at 50, and then we start to get the Falcon Order unit attire at 65. There was one there, what's that, at 80. And I think the final one is at 100, the Knight Errant set. Then after this, I think everything else is just the Conquest tokens, which can be earned, along with the various few random weapon crates and stuff like that. What's that? Oh, some hot hair dye. But basically all the main rewards are now within the 0 to 100 section. And after that, it's basically just Conquest tokens. So, yes, that's kind of a step in the right direction, although I still think getting to level 100 is going to be a pretty horrendous grind over the next sort of 5 weeks. And also the fact that there's still up to level 200, it kind of feels like you're missing out if you don't get there, or you don't even get a good chunk of the way, because all these Conquest tokens are kind of basically inaccessible for normal players, and I suspect for players with the grinding really quite hard as well, because the amount of glory you need is just so high. So yeah, so a lot of people are unhappy about that. I kind of agree, it seems a bit of a ridiculous grind, and I think while bringing the unit attires sort of lower down is a step in the right direction, I think just increasing the ability to earn glory would have been the better option. Because then it would have enabled people to actually stand a chance of working towards these rewards and still being able to get the Conquest tokens and stuff as they go along as well. So that's kind of what I think about that. But that kind of leads me on to my second point. The other big change that happened on, I think it was Friday, it came out in Friday's patch, was the changes to being able to buy glory. So a lot of people are pretty unhappy about this. So what have they done? So everyone, of course, on Monday when the Battle Pass released, brought the Battle Pass. Or a lot of people did it anyway. And that was 1,000 sovereigns. And then, obviously, it became clear that it was pretty much impossible to grind that out. And now you can buy 100,000 glory for 980 sovereigns for effectively the same price as the Battle Pass. Now, obviously, 100,000 glory, I don't know exactly how many levels that's going to give you. It depends kind of what level you are currently at, but it's going to be in and around probably about 20 levels or something like that. Yeah, that's pretty disappointing, the fact they've kind of introduced that. I don't like the fact that you can buy the glory, that you can effectively buy a battle pass and then you can buy glory to skip the battle pass. They should have just got the correct grind of a battle pass in the first place. But the slightly worse thing is the fact they've introduced it after the battle pass has come out. It wouldn't have been so bad if they introduced both at the same time, so at least people were kind of aware what they were getting themselves into. It feels a little bit underhand. Whether it was intended like that or it's just because they've realised they've kind of screwed up on the amount of grinding, and that's kind of how it's developed. Then they have also introduced, if we pop out of here and head over to the seasonal store, they have also introduced, if we can find it, Scroll of Rare Glory. For 80 sovereigns, you can basically buy 5,000 glory. So you can buy 5 of those per day. So that's another sort of element of it. You can slowly buy your way up that way if you wanted to. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the way they've kind of introduced that. That seems a little bit disappointing. I still think the grind needs to be sorted out, because it's really not great. On top of that, some of the weekly challenges I feel really kind of buggy. I've got 2 of the expedition ones. When you complete an expedition, it shows, the amount of damage you do, and yet that doesn't really seem to tally with the amount of the damage that comes up in my expedition quests. You know, some of the mounted archer ones feel nigh impossible, and I'm lucky enough to have them in field battles. Some people have got these in siege battle, mounted archers, which is just... that's never going to happen. So a little bit of more work really needs to be done around these challenges to get them a little bit more completable, or at least not bugged out like some of these, where they feel like they're almost impossible to complete without doing 20 Expedition 2s, which I don't want to do. At least it would be better if it was even Expedition 3s, but 2s, it just seems like a joke. So, yeah, Battle Pass Week 1. I still like some elements of it. I think the concept is good. I don't dislike. I like the fact that there's a good amount of rewards and a good amount of skins introduced. Grind is too hard. So there's some of these buying glory elements I'm not a fan of. They should have sorted out the grind in the first place, and hopefully they still plan to introduce more ways to allow us to earn glory other than just buying it, because I think that would make a real big difference. Anyway, that's all I've got for you this week. Do let me know what you think about this and what about the changes I just talked about here in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for a load more Conqueror's Blade content, and I shall see you guys all on the next video.